Hey guys, JC here again with WEDGE Concepts, and in this video I'm just going to go over 4 reasons why you should actually rent instead of buying a home. So let's go. Gotta say thank you for checking out my channel. Go ahead, hit the subscribe, click the like button if you hear anything that you agree with. Also got to give a shout out to my frat brother. He's the one who actually gave me this idea. So Crypt Keeper, yo. All right, so I'm going to just give you 4 reasons on why you should actually rent instead of buying a home. And you know, we all know that buying a house is like the American dream, right? You go to school, you start working, you get married, you buy a house, you start a family. Life is good. As your family grows and your income hopefully increases, you upgrade your house, get the pool, and after the kids are all grown up, you might even downsize. Like it all makes sense. I get it. It makes sense. And it actually seems logical and practical to buy a house instead of actually renting. But let's just have some fun with this, all right? And I'm going to challenge that idea. So the first reason why you should rent instead of buying is that it's easier to move, okay? Let's say you live in Gaithersburg and you work in Bethesda, no problem. Then you get that dream job out in Manassas. That commute is going to be a killer. At least if you're renting, you can just, live out the duration of your lease, move. You can try to sublet it or just break that lease and pay the penalty. Or let's just say that, you move into a new apartment. Everything on the inside is new, modern, brand new. You love it. But then come to find out, once that sun goes down, the neighborhood looks a little different. You can move. With a house, not easy to move. All right. Now the second reason, when you're sharing a house or sharing a space, like when you're not married. So if you're renting, when a relationship ends, moving out is much easier. It may suck depending on who has to move, but it's actually a lot easier to remove your name from a lease than a deed. Okay. Now the third reason, it can be very hard to sell a house. Now there are certain parts of the country, like even major cities, where renting is better than buying a home. In some cities like Detroit, selling a house is difficult, and this seems to really only be getting worse. But in that type of situation, it's just better to rent. And you also got to look at the fact that if it's hard to sell your house, it may be hard to rent it out. So, just think about it, okay? So the fourth and final reason is that it can actually be cheaper to rent than to buy. You would have those that say like, yo, James, look, it's still more expensive to rent, even after all the, the maintenance fees, the repair, HOA fees, and what have you. And they could be correct, but not always, right? Because here's an example. Look at where you live and the housing market and the rental prices. Living in DC or San Francisco, it can actually be cheaper to rent than to buy. But if you live like somewhere in like Oklahoma or Rhode Island, it's going to be cheaper to buy a home, right? So once again, you got to do your research. You got to look up the average rent and mortgage prices for the location of where you live. You can always go on like Zillow's website to get an idea of what those numbers look like. You also got to keep in mind that I believe it said it takes about 5 years to break even on your mortgage, because the first 5 years or a few years you're paying mostly interest anyway. So let's be real. You're getting older, you're married, you have kids. Buying a home is obvious a better decision, but it's very hard to get rid of that house if it's infested with termites or has cracks in the foundation. At least when you're renting, you can just dip out, right? So hope that was helpful. Just a bonus video. Just want to give you a few reasons why you should actually rent instead of buying. It's definitely easier to move. It can be difficult to sell a house or to find tenants to rent to. And depending on where you live, it can be less expensive. All right. So do me a favor, click the subscribe, click the like button, and let's build together. All right. Peace.